moving on. Mom's music, as we say, has transcended through time. Sampled by Fat Joe, 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, and Drake, and so on. But what we're getting ready to do now is to go back to 1967. A lot of people say that there's not a lot known about my mother. And I'm going to bring someone up who was there, who knows all of it, who was on the road, who was in the studio making the records, who was creating the song. And that's Mr. George Kerr, who is affectionately known to me as Pops. Pops, come on up. Come on up, Pops. Come on up here with me. You got a mic. So we're going to talk about a little bit about the making of Hypnotize and a few other songs. And he can give you the real. It's all up here in his head. Okay? Pops, you got anything you want to say before we move on?
Yeah, just microphone. Testing, testing. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I just want to say that I'm very, very proud to be a part of this occasion. Looking at you as a young lady now, be a little girl when I used to come around. So now, I just want to say, I've been working on some songs for you. And it's going to be the last thing that I'm going to do. But I've done some tracks. And these tracks, I studied all your sign on all of your videos. I was listening. You are a great singer, just like your mother. And the first of the year, I'm going to bring her down there, and you and I, and Helen, is going to get busy.
Okay. Okay. Well, you got it. You got it. Thank you. You know I love you.
Yes.
Okay. So let me ask you this. I'm going to start out. I got a few questions. I said, let me ask Pop this. So, the making of Hypnotize. So I heard that Richard Poindexter, who I spoke to the other day, who's one of the songwriters of Hypnotize, and Robert Poindexter had a singer on the song, on the demo of Hypnotize.
Yes.
And you heard it. And tell the audience what you thought about it and how Hypnotize, Mom ended up on Hypnotize in that story.
Well, a guy by the name of Rockin' Robin in Baltimore. Oh, Baltimore. I went down and I told him after I had left Motown and came and I was doing records and stuff as an independent. I told this guy, I says, look, you give me $1,500 and I'm going to bring back a hit. He gave me $1,500 and I left. And he didn't see me for about 5 or 6 months. I came up, I was listening to these songs that the Poindexter brothers had. They must have played me about 14 songs. Out of the songs that they played me, Hypnotize was one of them. I'll Be Sweeter Tomorrow was another. So I took those 2 songs and I went into the recording studio, and the Poindexter brothers, one of them, his name was Robert. His girlfriend, who later became his wife, used to sing all the demonstration records for the girls. Robert Poindexter, he would always sing the guys' songs. So this young lady was singing Hypnotize. I got goose strippers on my arms, not from her, but for the song. So I went in and I recorded those 4 songs. It was 4 songs. So when I finished and I brought it home, I told my wife, I says, this record is a hit. I said, but I need a lady that can walk water she has to walk water in my...
Yeah.
And I asked Jerry Harris, I said, Jerry, I need somebody that can walk water to do this. He said, I got it. He cursed all the time. I was saying, I got the one to do it. So he took me to Linda. And I played the track for Linda. And Linda said, give me a pencil and paper. She wrote down a few of the lyrics. She heard this girl singing the song. She started to sing over over Jackie's song. Goose pimples came up on my arms. I said, that's a hit. So I called the studio. I had to try. Called the studio, I said, look, you got to get me some time. Because I have a young lady that's going to kill this song. He gave me some time, and I went in, and Linda was reading the song. She says, okay, George, let's run it down. I said, okay, fine. And I told the engineer, hit the button. Push the button. She started to sing the song, and she's reading. And as the first few bars, goosebumps came all over my face and my arms. And at the end of the song, I said, that's it. I hit the button. I said, Linda, I said, you can come on in now. I say, I got the song. She says, no, George. I got to do it again. I was just, I messed up on the words. I was saying hypnotize. I want to say hypnotize. I says, no, Linda. It's going to be hypnotized. I said, because I got goose pimples on my arm. And Linda told me, say, George, if you don't play that tape again, you're going to have goose pimples on your head. Just let me straighten it out. She said, let me straighten it out. I says, no, you are not going to straighten this out. It's already done.
One take.
Every song that I produced on Linda Jones was one take.
Right on.
I have produced a lot of artists. Phyllis Hyman, the OJs, the Escorts, Ray Goodman and Brown, Marvin Gaye, Blue Magic, the Delphonics. But everybody that I did never was one take. Linda Jones was the GOAT. Now, when I recorded the song, I took it and I says, this record is a hit. So I had it on this little acetate. And I started to walk with this record under my arms, sharpening it. A year went by. No takers. Nobody wanted it. Everybody that I would go, they say, hey, I don't know about that. Ain't you got something like Motown? I said, you got something like Motown. I said, this is different. This is new.
Right.
Nobody heard it. 2 years went by. I'm walking with this one record under my arms. And I know now why everything was a success. And it was because the perseverance. Perseverance. Took me almost 3 years to get somebody to listen to really to hear Linda Jones. So I went to Warner Brothers, they had a R&B label by the name of Loma. and they had just hired this black guy. His name was Ronnie Moser. I was playing the record for him, and he was getting ready to take it off and say, I really don't hear this. And his boss, the guy by the name of Jerry Ragavar, was walking down the hall. He went into Ronnie Moses' office. He says, Ronnie, what was that I just heard? He says, just something. He said, but put that back on. Put it back on. He listened to about 4 bars. He says, Ronnie, what are you talking about? This is a smash. He says, where's the tape? What you want? I said, I want a 10%. I want $1,000 and a 7% deal. He said, you got it. Go and get the master. So I went up to A1 Studios, and I told the guy, I says, hey, Pat, I got a deal for my record. I says, where is it? So he went up on the shelf, and he brought the master down, and he blew cobwebs off it. It was up there so long. Oh, here it is, George. I signed it out, and I went back to Warner Brothers. He gave me $1,000. He said, you can go downstairs and you can cash the check. So I left and I went to Florida. Must have been gone about 2 months. Then when I came back, I went to New York, and this guy by the name of Sammy Turner, he had a big hit back in the 50s, Lavender Blue. He said, this is the way he talked. He said, George, where you been, man? I said, well, he said, where you been? Jerry Wright wasn't looking for you, man. You got a hit record. I said, I got a what? He said, come on with me. So we ran over to Warner Brothers. And as I went to the reception, I said, my name is George. She said, oh, Jerry, don't go nowhere. Calling Jerry, everybody at Loma Records come running in. Because they've been looking for me. The number that I had was changed. And they said, George, we got a smash. They say all of these booking agents is calling for Linda. Where is Linda? Oh man, my head was just spinning and everything. So look, you got to get her together. Wait a minute, let me give you an advance where you can get her together. I got to take you over to Queen's booking agent, because Queen booking agents say, they got you 31 nighters at $1,250 a night, and then they got you 60 days with the Jackie Wilson tour. So we had one with the James Brown tour, 30, and 60 days with the Jackie Wilson.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And Jerry said, George, we are selling like maybe 10,000 records a day. The record was on fire.
Yeah, right on.
Everything. You see, I just want to say to people, perseverance.
Yes.
You gotta have that staying power.
Yes.
If you truly believe in something, no matter the world can say no, but if you really believe, you got perseverance, you can succeed. And you know, I was thinking, if it was not for Linda Jones, there never would have been any escorts.
That's right.
Because Linda came to me when I was producing the OJs and says, George, I want you to come with me to the Rahway State Prison because John is going to be on a talent show there. I says, okay, what day and time? I would never not do what Linda said, because Linda, you know, she was kind of headstrong. So Linda, my wife, and I went down to the prison. And they had everybody just like, they had a band up there. They had strings and horns and all. These are all prisoners. And all of these groups was coming across the stage. And then the escorts came across, and I like the escorts. So I went there to say this. That's when I heard the Escorts. But if it would not have been for Linda, there wouldn't have been any Escorts. And I just want to say, when we were on the road, all of these artists, you know, that just had one record, we were all on the same bus. And we just had one record, and then we had another record on the other side and the whole bit. So we had been out there for about, must have been about 25 days. One-nighters, like New York one night, New Jersey the next night, Philadelphia the next night, Washington the next night, and so forth and so on. So Linda was eating a hot dog, and she says, "Look, George." She opened up a pocket, she had about $12,000, $13,000. She said, "Look, I'm rich and I'm sitting up here. I have to eat a hot dog." And we just laughed at it the whole bit. But we all had fun. But nobody, everybody, you could hear everybody on the bus say, "No, I ain't gonna follow Linda Jones. What's I gonna do?" Nobody wanted to follow Linda. So we went to the Civic Center, and we were co-starring the show, and Linda started to sing. And then when she went off the stage, they kept calling her back and calling her back and calling her back. They had to take an intermission for Aretha Franklin to get on the show. So after we finished, after Aretha finished, she came into the dressing room and she says, "Linda, please excuse my French, what I'm about to say." She said, "Linda, you know you're a bad bitch." She said, "But just remember, I'm the #1 soul." She said, "But you're #2. And I just want to say that Linda, everywhere that we went, it was incredible. I mean, she just turned out the show. Now the night we were at the Apollo Theater, I had Linda's gowns in the trunk of my car. And then when we went at that last night at the show, Linda had never sang this song. She told the band, she says, "Look, I know you guys must be tired. You've been playing for everybody." She says, "But I don't want you guys to play on this song." She kicked off her shoes and she said, "A change is going to come." And she started to sing that song a cappella. And you could hear a pin drop as she sang that song. People were started crying. They was, in the middle of that song, they stood up and gave her the place was jam-packed, and gave her a standing ovation. That was the last song that Linda sang. So, like I said, I've recorded a lot of artists, but Linda Jones was by far, that voice was not from here, it was from heaven, because nobody could sing like Miss Linda Jones. So I am so proud, Terry, to know that I'm getting ready to do something about you. Thank you so much for having me.